Hey guys, in this tutorial we're going to be looking at altering the name of our string and our text here so that we can use it as a universal string throughout our code and have it make sense rather than having a string and text called papers and paper inside of our bookcase action. So what we're going to do is come here and replace papers text with universal text, replace, and I would recommend not hitting replace all unless you know for sure that when you're pressing replace all that you're not replacing something you don't mean to, because I've had that happen to me where I've pressed replace all and had no idea that it actually had an effect on my script in a negative way, and it changed something that I didn't mean for it to. We're going to call it universal stir. So if you are going to use replace all, just be very careful. But as a rule, I just don't use it. Okay, so make sure everything works. Ultimately, we could place a message here after at some point, like this. Alright, so the strings are still working. That's perfect. We don't need this in here because we are positioning the text manually through our script. So we'll move this to our variables here at the very top, and therefore, because it's one of the first include files, we can then use that throughout each one of these. And then when we look at our script and we see universal stir and universal text, we'll be like, oh, okay, that's what that is. Like, you could call that HUD text or GUI text or whatever you want text. The important thing is to know that it is universal and it doesn't belong to a particular object such as paper, because if a paper does require a particular string to be called paper, we do want that to be accessible and usable. So in this case, we don't necessarily need that. We can know that this is just a universal string to replace whatever will appear on the screen in front of the player. Okay, so just to clear that up, I wanted to make a quick tutorial on strings and their usability, because you don't want to have 100 different texts for 100 different actions if you don't have to. In this case, this is a perfect use of one string, unless, for example, you wanted to have a second string below it that said something else, or that was relevant to an entirely different thing, or I don't know. But in this example, this is the best way to optimize your script and only have one string being used.